Hello everyone, this is Self Actualization, and welcome to your divine uniqueness. And I want to express my deep gratitude to all of you for your contribution during the first season, and it was really amazing, and I can't thank you enough. And also, I'm excited about this second season, and so grateful for all the teachers, masters, and angels like Aurora Juliana Ariel, who are here to give you guidance and to help you get to the path of awakening. So I want to thank all of you for being part of your divine uniqueness. And I'm excited to introduce Aurora. She is a pioneer doctor and healer, first best-selling author, creator of the Quest, and award-winning author of the Earth 2012 33 series. She is also a business owner, a singer, and music producer. Aurora will be taking us on a global divine healing transmission for our personal and planetary transformation. And it is very important for us to prepare for this healing, because each one of us on this call is a vessel of the great healing that will take place for all of us, our families, loved ones, and all humanity. So say your prayers, set clear intentions, call to your divine sponsors, write a request, write out what you want to release, what you want to clear, step free of, what you want to embody, manifest, and attain. Because these healings are really deep and very comprehensive. Because the divine ones from the realms of light will work directly with your divine self on your behalf. Also, Aurora will answer your live questions. So for everyone listening on the phone or Skype, you can raise your hand by pressing *2 to ask your question. And for those of you listening on the webcast page, you can write your question there on the question form. So with that, Aurora, I want to welcome you to the show. It's such an honor to have you between us.
Thank you so much, Monsef. I am so grateful. And with this amount of healing light that's flowing right now, I know this is a tremendous gift from the heavens today. And for the listeners, as you shared, it's so important we prepare ourselves right now to be those vessels of that greater healing for our planet and all humanity. And then for everyone listening in on the replays, just know this light is eternal and it is forever flowing, and so there's so much that you can be receiving.
Yeah, beautiful. And Aurora, I believe that the healing energy already took place from the beginning of this call, I think.
Yes, as I was sharing, I'm just acclimating to this waterfall of light because it's a tremendous release right now, and I'm in that waterfall of light every day with clients and students, so this is really a huge, tremendous release. So everyone listening to this, whatever time you do listen to it, and also you can replay it and keep receiving. Yeah, there's so much healing, so open your hearts. Write out your intentions, make yourself available for the deepest healing that's possible for you today.
Yeah, wonderful. So, Aurora, I would love to talk about, because recently we see a lot of suffering in the world and some conflicts, and also we see suffering in people who have a spiritually based life and healthy lifestyles also. And also you talked about that, and you said that you found the cause of suffering. So can you talk about that?
Yes, it's really one of my most landmark and exciting discoveries, because up until now we've lived out of mythologies trying to figure out why. Why do good people suffer? Why, when we follow healthy formulas, diets, ways of being, spiritual practices, do we keep having these dilemmas in our life, the diseases, the relationship dynamics that break our hearts, and all of the things, the financial constraint and things we deal with on earth? And so all these things were such a puzzle for me, and I just had so much fire in my soul to find out what the answer was. And that led me into the psyche, into the study of the soul, which is psychology. And through a multitude of sessions and in thousands of cases, I was able to trace their dilemma to the cause of it and where that was coming from. And I'm happy to report that there is no deity that's relegating us to suffer. There's nothing set in stone that is saying you have to suffer. At the same time, suffering continues because where it's coming from is the unconscious. And so to understand that equation, as we come into embodiment, we take on the family patterns, mannerisms, ways of being, belief systems. These then are running and create the similar circumstances our family heritage have experienced. And also, from our own soul lineage. So what is happening when you're suffering, when something's happening that's creating misery and upset, is there's a part of you, an unconscious part of you, which in psychological terms is called a subconscious personality, subpersonality. I call them inner aspects. That is calling out for attention because it wants to be healed. And in this time, we have many wondrous ways that we can address the inner self and we can heal these things for the last time. And in my work, I brought out the quest, which is a 7-step process that is very comprehensive and very deep and very exciting to go through these transformations, bringing those parts of self forward and healing them for the last time for ourselves, our families, and all humanity.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And also you are given a big importance to the deeper causes of our challenging life conditions. So can you talk about that and maybe how, give us more details about how to face those causes?
Yes, it's important to understand that when something's happening that's very challenging, to turn within and really give time and space to feel those emotions and then take that next step to really see and identify the part of you that's suffering. And that's the first step in the quest. The way these patterns work, I can give an example. I've worked with so many people that have had life conditions that once were thought incurable, unchangeable, or irreversible. And it's so exciting, I was brought these most impossible cases and like a Houdini, able to help unlock and free the person from what would have been a life sentence of suffering that without end. And that could keep going down the generations or in future lives. In one series of cases, I've been able to successfully remove the patterning from women who were in early childhood wired for abuse. What happens is when you have abuse as a child and it's with a parent that you love, you get this wiring, you could call it, that mixes love with abuse. So if you fall in love in the future, it will be many times with an abuser if your father was alcoholic. And it's not every time, but you see these patterns of women drawing in abusers, and you get them extricated from this dilemma only for them to have 10 suitors, and they go with the one that ends up to be an abuser again. So I've worked with really complex cases that are about Well, that the people maybe are in their 50s and 60s, and this has ran again and again in their life history. And by isolating those parts of self, working with the inner aspects and healing them, bringing them through the 7-step process and healing and transforming them, what happens is you just can change that whole wiring. You know, it's like our psyches or computer systems. It's like reprogramming that and bringing those aspects back to their full potential selves rather than being wounded children in our psyche that keep playing out the same movies.
Mm-hmm. Yes, beautiful. And also I believe that also we can heal also our relationship with our loved ones who already passed away. And we also have here Jane, who wrote to us. He asked a question: how do you heal from the guilt of not apologizing to someone and now they have passed away?
Where's Jane from?
She's from Falls Church.
Yes, I'm really getting your sorrow, Jane. You've been really burdened by this and carrying it deep inside you. Loved ones, when they pass over, if you have a heartfelt conversation, let's just say sharing your heart, you could light a candle. You could even write a letter and burn it and just share your heart with them. And that is received. I've also helped people. Well, one of the sessions I give is creating your own inner healing temple retreat, where you can meet daily with your divine sponsors and your inner healer, your divine self, and receive healings and blessings. And in that way, you know, you could actually meet with a loved one and have a healing. I helped a woman who had lost her daughter, and I just couldn't get that resolve. But Jane, you've got a lot of sorrow, and it is affecting lungs, and it's really okay to release that right now. And the part of you that's just so burdened with that, the inner aspect, I can see right now, and she wants to make amends, really wants this to be set right. So right now there's a lot of healing happening for you and that part of you, because all things really are forgiven. We are in our soul learning modules here on Earth, and we pick up these patterns and they play out, and there is really no judgment and no blame. We play roles for others, they play roles for us, and it's an enlightening journey where our souls really learn and grow and advance from it. So nothing is really wrong, I've learned, in thousands and thousands of cases and sessions and millions of aspects healed. You know, on the other side, there's a lot of enlightenment and clarity. And so that one understands totally and is grateful for your, you know, for your intention to make things right, and your intention, you know, that you wish you could have done better, things could have been better. But right now, just tune in, because there's a lot of healing for you and a lot of golden light of peace coming in now that's just filling your being and your lungs. And then also it's spreading out to other people carrying sorrow right now. And so all of you that are carrying sorrows, misgivings, regret, shame, guilt, and all of that, release that right now. Let it just come off of you like a dark cloud, and let it just burn in the white fire. And free yourself from that so that this light can come in right now and fill your being and make things right, to set things right. And Jane, your person from the other side is saying that you're loved. There's love there. So have faith and trust in that. So love is the truth. And all the plays we all do in the human sense, are just that. Roles we play for our soul learning and growth. And none of us can really go wrong here. We have the full permission to explore and express and play out patterns and do whatever is important for us for our soul learning and growth. And so it's really good right now for everyone that's carrying shame and guilt to release that. And you can see this beautiful white flame, a divine flame right before you, maybe 4 to 5 feet tall. And just let those dark clouds of things you've been holding, of things no longer serving, and things you want to let go, and the burdens and the cares and the sorrows, just right now, let it lift off of you and go into that flame, and let it all dissolve. And let that light come in through your crown chakras now, that white light and then the golden light of peace filling your beings. And as all of this is occurring, you're getting ready now to be vessels of the greater healing we're going to do in a little while. So a lot of inner aspects in all of you listening, and I can tell it's going future too. So in the replays, a lot of you, a lot of inner aspects are getting healed and transformed. This frees up your being so that you can be in your authentic self more fully, in that clarity and the truth of who you really are.
Beautiful. Thank you, Aurora. Now, Aurora, I would love to talk about bringing our special gifts and talents to the world, because each one wants to make an impact and be in service to others. So how can we actualize a higher potential and how to release what stands in the way of that?
For me, what I took on in this embodiment, I had to do a lot of clearing of these aspects and healing of the wounded aspects of self to climb that Mount Everest, to attain all that I've attained and all that I've been a vessel of that is now a global healing ministry reaching so many lives across the planet. It's a mission in itself, and the Divine Ones speak of this continually when they're reading people's books of life and sharing with them, what is their true divine purpose and how can they actualize their greater potential. It really is about clearing the way for our authentic self to emerge fully, to take the reins of the power in our life so that we're not being run continually by the subconscious aspects, which some people call the shadow side of our nature. And this is really a big change at this time on the planet, because up until now, there's just been millennia upon millennia where people have pretty much just been driven and lived out the fate dictated by the human programming. And it's only in this time that masses of us, we are in the millions, sincerely, truly, that are undergoing a transfiguring process that care to fulfill a divine purpose rather than a human project or plan, that really are committed to actualization of our truest gifts and talents. So the one highest purpose we can fulfill on earth is living in our authentic selves most of the time, which is something I've attained, and I show the way with the quest, that if you will heal the issues as they arise and address those deeper causal levels of it through working with the subconscious, the unconscious aspects, and get them healed and transformed quickly, then you will be continually actualizing your greater potential and being in your authentic self more often. And I've been able to attain in the high 90s percentile of being in that. So then when you're in that actualized self, when you're in your divine self, everything just flows easily and effortlessly. You are a vessel of great blessings to the earth. Just your presence radiates out and is felt by millions and millions of souls on the planet, enveloping the planet in your light. Then you're a conduit of that light. Your chakras are the spiritual centers that allow the light from your divine self, the light from those realms of light to come in and through and radiate out to this world. And that light transforms, uplifts, and inspires. So in that regard alone, you know, there's been many yogis that just meditated in the cave, or Gautama Buddha, who's meditated under the banyan tree, and just their very presence they knew was enough. Because when you're in that self and you're a conduit of that light, you're enough. It is enough. You don't have to wear yourself out or kill yourself over projects. So it's a very different equation than we've been brought to understand on this planet, where people are so project-oriented. I've got to fulfill my mission, and I have to roll up my sleeves and do this and this and that. And believe me, I've been in that reality, and I've worn out my body over it, and I had to then restore my body and kind of get to understand that when it's a human part of us driving it, that part should get healed and transformed, and then allow the divine plan to be manifest in and through us. And your authentic self holds all the jewels of your divine nature, who you really are, your talents and your gifts. You don't have to run and try to find them or wear yourself out trying to do something. It's just really about being and being in that moment and allowing that inspiration to be well up from inside, and then letting it flow out to humanity. And I've seen miracles, from that equation as I quieted the human side of my nature and healed and transformed these very, altruistic and noble and humanitarian aspects, but they were still the human drives and how the human thought it should be done and over responsibility and all that. And as I've transformed that, I've seen miracles in the release of music from the heaven realms that have been released, and amazing divine healing transmissions that completely transfigure, the person listening, the healing power of love offering from the divine realms. So there's just so much that can manifest in and through us, yet be joyous and something we're passionate about and excited about. And the bottom line of it is we got to clear the way, because we did come in, we took on the patterns. The patterns will relegate us to a lesser path of fate, again, dictated by the human programming. To realize a higher destiny, we really do need to do the inner work.
Yeah, beautiful. I love what you said, and also I love that anyone can do that. It's not something that is difficult. So it's just inner work, and it's not something it's easy for all of us. So it's really beautiful. So Aurora, I would love to take a caller, if you would like to do so.
Yes, it would be wonderful.
So we have Wilma from Ottawa. Are you with us?
Hello.
Hello, Wilma.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, thank you so much for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I was hoping that Aurora could have a look in my field, and I kind of got a little bit of an answer while she was talking just now about the human part, healing the human part first. For me, it's eyesight. I had perfect eyesight, and almost overnight it diminished, so that over years I've just gone and replaced my glasses with a higher prescription. But now that I realize it's a self-inflicted or a soul-inflicted issue, not a medical condition, I've tried every which way to clear it, and nothing is budging. But when Aurora was just talking, it said something about the physical, heal the physical first. how do I do that when I've been trying so hard? And there's a part of me that knows I'm going to see perfectly again and never have to use prescription lenses.
The way you describe it, it's clear to me that this has been a ropes course for you. So the dilemma, the physical condition, has created a plan for your soul that's put you on a journey of learning, healing, growth, advancement, knowledge, and I can see it's caused you to, or inspired you to study, to learn all that you can about this dilemma, to go to every level, that you're going to the deepest levels. And with some of these incurables, seemingly incurables, where it's not known they can be cured yet, I've had 2 incurable illnesses that would have relegated me. Well, one would have taken me out of embodiment very fast when I was 33, and another one I would have just been relegated to medication and tiredness and et cetera for the rest of my life. So the formula that I've used successfully in this, and yet I always have to defer, like, what is your divine plan and how did you set up your precepts and write them in your book of life before you came? Did you want to have it be a long, long journey of discovery on so many levels, and so it gives you that ropes course at Mount Everest, and you're going to the depths and the heights and, going through setbacks and then having breakthroughs, or, can it be healed in an instant? And so the formula that I would apply is, do what you're doing, hit it on all levels simultaneously. The right diet, nutrition, brain balancing, nutrition, and things that feed and nourish the eyes and the eyesight, and then going deeper and consistently as each aspect comes up around the eyesight, heal them. And each one of them will be a core aspect that represents a multitude of aspects, which I'm seeing now since even a great acceleration since 2012, our capacity to heal greater amounts of these aspects in one session. And the way you'll be alerted is angst or upset or feeling burdened by the condition. That emotional aspect of it, frustration or whatever it is the inner aspect speaking to you through the emotions and calling your attention to the next piece to the puzzle that wants to be healed and transformed. And if you use the Quest 7 steps, which I love because it took a long time to develop, and I made it in a way we could do self-counseling with it, that I'm not only giving it and training life coaches and counselors in it to serve their communities, but anyone can apply it and do it, that journey alone will be just so enlightening, so enriching, and in each session, whatever the aspects, whatever amount of aspects you're working with will be healed and transformed. And that's the 7th step, the transfiguration. Now, having said all that, I want to see what the divine can do today for you. Do you have any other questions? Or?
Well, I'm just guided to say while you're talking, what my frustration is there's that part of me that knows that my eyesight can be healed instantly. And then there's the other part of me that is, well, why haven't you done it yet? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? And I've read the Quest. I haven't been able to afford the actual guided journey. I've just read the book itself. And as I say, it's just I feel stuck in that. Now that I know, because it was a lot of years that I was without my perfect eyesight before I came to the awareness that, wait a second, this is something that I created. I don't know why I created it, but I should be able to discreate it. So listening to you talk, there's still that part of me that's like waving my hand up in the air and saying, yeah, but it's supposed to be instant, like decide and do it. And then there's the other part of me that's going, what do you think I've been doing all along? Anyway, that's all I was guided to throw out at you.
Well, I'm so glad that you brought that forward, because this is a very good example of the dialogue that can go on, and also the angst and the energetic that we deal with our inner aspects. And so many of us have always believed that's me, but they're not, because you can see there's the dichotomy in you of two different sides. There's one that knows, and believes in health and wholeness because you are an eternal immortal spirit who is perfectly fine and intact on the higher realms of light, and your inner divine self is that. You are that. And you have a dilemma that is giving you a healing journey, and the very fact that it wasn't someone waving their hand over your eyes and you're healed kind of scenario, it obviously wants for you a journey, not a one-moment thing. And the parts of you that have the angst over it or feel like you're not doing it enough or something's wrong with you, all that, those are always inner aspects. Inner aspects are always upset, seeing things in a skewed way, not happy, guilt, shame, sorrow, anger, rage, brokenheartedness. Those are not our true nature. Those are aspects that somehow we picked up, and the reason why so many of us did it in this embodiment is to heal them for the last time, to heal these aspects and heal the conditions that they create, for ourselves and humanity, because we are very much going into a whole new era now, a more enlightened era. And it wouldn't be true if we didn't have millions of us all in this transformative process that have the theme, that fire in our hearts for personal and planetary transformation. So you're one of those. And you're called to get into these matters, these soul matters, and delve deeply into them to understand. And the reason why is written in your book of life, and why you set it up this way, to have this adversity, this challenge that you would then attempt to overcome, and all the learnings and growth and advancement that you would gain from that. And whether it gets healed or not healed is not as important as is the journey, the learning, the growth, the knowledge you attain, the compassion that you gain from going through something like this, and the compassionate understanding of others, your loving heart gets expanded, and all these things that happen. It's always, we need to come with a lot of compassion, caring for ourselves and for these aspects. They're younger parts of us that are playing out and creating very real physical adversities in our life. And if we're dealing with any adversity, the inner aspects are running, the program's running, and we have a great opportunity of learning, advancement, growth, and healing within that learning module.
It's very interesting because I went from the beginning of the call being absolutely elated and full of expansive energy, and now as you're finishing talking, I just feel like completely, like my energy is just completely deflated, and I almost just feel like crying.
Yeah, that's because right now you have hundreds of inner aspects up. You're like, you went from this rah, I'm going to heal this and change it, kind of energetic, and now you're like, your soul has descended into that unconscious part of you, and you're feeling all the aspects that are calling for healing. So now we're going to do some healing work on it, and for everybody else who is similarly afflicted with some kind of physical or other condition in your life. And then, of course, then we're going to have the divine healing transmission. That will be even a wider healing. But right now, these inner aspects There's some that are blind, that just can't see, that have lived centuries and millennia just blinded and disconnected from the true self. And this has been a planetary dilemma, and this goes down your family line all the way back, and has, of course, been it's been the dilemma of Earth since the fall of Lemuria and the descent from that illumined way of living that was our most ancient heritage on this planet. All these aspects are being addressed and healed right now. And then all of you that are holding, many aspects are getting healed, and then linking up with your families and globally right now. There is a lot of healing coming in. And now, because the aspects are, yours have been stuck. Some of them have been really stuck. You felt very stuck. And now they're getting hope and light if there's a way out of the dilemma, to see with eyes of truth, to embrace the true nature that never has an adverse condition, to understand the dichotomy between the human experience and the true state of being that is your natural self. And that dichotomy has been a lot of the learning and growth, and also to keep finding within the adversity yourself, the one that can see clearly, has the inner sight and ability and knowingness, and that absolute authority of standing in the truth, seeing truth. So now all the aspects are becoming enlightened. They're becoming the ones that are up today that your soul has designated to be healed, and this is maybe a first round for you. I think there can be more. I would think there's like 850 aspects, and then so many and everybody. Everyone is really giving a lot, so that's great. I can see we have very advanced souls on this call today that are able to release a lot. All right, now all the inner aspects are becoming healed and transformed. And because of that, your futures have altered, because those aspects would have been, if you hadn't come to the call and received this healing today, these aspects that are getting healed would have just kept creating more and more and more of these dilemmas. So all of that was on your future lines, and those futures are literally being dissolved right now. Whole new, more enlightened future, more light-filled, you're stepping on. This is how, as we do the inner work, we step on higher and higher levels of our destiny path, and we ride our highest destiny potential. So there's just so much that occurs when we do this deep inner healing work. And of course, it links up with our family members and all humanity, because on that strata of consciousness, we're all linked up. So now healing's going into that whole pool, that whole strata of the unconscious of humanity, and there's just so many people in so many dilemmas across the earth that I'm feeling right now in the angst and in the great travail of planetary conditions. So a really great healing's taking place. And now, because these inner aspects could be healed, light can come in now and cleanse out the last residues in your chakras. And now you can be back aligned with your divine self and coming into that deeper state of being of centered in yourself, and all of you centered in yourselves. And this is really great, because you're all going to be vessels of amazing healing pretty soon here, and you already are. But as everybody gets cleansed here, then, and you too, Monsteph, you've got a lot because of your heritage and lineage, and then going into Africa, and oh my gosh, so much travail over there. There's so much healing through you as well. And now it's about relaxing into the truth of who you are back at this new set point of being in thy authentic self. And then, and then we are proactive and positive until our next piece comes up. And largely through an adversity or emotions is how we are alerted. All right, everyone, I'm going to put this back to Monsef. Jane, thank you so much for being a part. Or no, that was Jane was before. You know what, I didn't even catch your name.
Wilma. It's Wilma. Can I just quickly share something? When you started the healing, there's nothing wrong with my inner vision. My inner vision is perfect. I often see myself as a crystalline rod from the Creator going straight through me down into the earth. When you actually started the healing process, I could feel as if there were shards of light shooting out in all directions from that rod. I'm feeling it really strongly now in the back of my head. I don't know why. But anyway, I just went with it while stuff was being cleared. And then as you were finishing the call, the healing, it was as if a blanket of warm energy just enveloped me, like if I put a cape over my entire body, and that was just like a warm sensation of energy. So that was very, very interesting. I'm going to hold the intention that a lot got cleared. Thank you so much.
And have faith and trust. You came to do this. Mother Mary is showing me your book of life right now, and she wants you to know that you wrote all this script and that you were one of the many that decided to come in this time to help clean up these things in the earth and to work on the causal levels of it, because, conditions can get lifted in a moment, yet the inner aspects left unhealed will recreate it. That's why people have reoccurring and chronic things. So when we're called to do this deep inner work, it really is clearing it out, and it's clearing out more than the physical condition. The physical condition is just an effect of, but the complexity of what we're healing as each aspect comes forward is multidimensional, and it goes into many levels, from mental, emotional, physical, spiritual dilemmas that are getting healed and transformed. So you've been, just an amazing vessel of light and healing, and allowing so many people to get the nuts and bolts of why it's so important for us to do the inner pieces, not just want our conditions whisked away in one moment. The reason being is we want to learn and grow and understand the dilemma that humanity's been in forever, so that it's encoded within us, so that whatever we bring out, that knowledge, that awareness, is really a benefit for all humanity. Because, as I said, humanity's lived these conditions, and okay, I'm going blind, okay, I'm a jealous person, all right, I just draw on abusers, and they just kind of live with it. And we came in mass, and Mother Mary saying, know that you're one of them, one of the ones that came, the fiery spirits from the heaven realms, while she and others remain behind to support us from above, and that the mission was to take it on and transmute it for ourselves, our families, and all humanity. Otherwise, we would have just come in enlightened, but we would have been a little out of touch with this world, because we already were. A lot of us had a hard time with the unconsciousness here when we came. We could barely relate. So now we're getting into the depths of it all of us together. And as we do the inner pieces and we come into our divine nature, we're showcasing a way out for humanity, and we're actualizing a greater potential than has been seen, especially en masse in the histories of our world since the glorious times of the Maria. So we're like in this return now to Eden, and all of us are doing it together. She said, be proud of yourself for your valiant effort, and know that it's a job well done, and it is purposeful. And just continue to roll up your sleeves and take each next piece, and know that that piece is right for you at the right timing, and everything is being divinely orchestrated. You enlisted many divine helpers to assist in your mission, your soul learning module, as many, and I would say all of us did, who came oriented for a high mission. And so you are completely surrounded and protected, and you are right on the right track. And today you've jumped onto even a more beautiful golden pathway of light. So have, just give yourself a hug and self-loving.
Awesome.
It's a job well done.
Thank you so much, both of you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Warnima.
Thank you.
That was really wonderful and really powerful healing that you did. And also, you talked about that we are shifting to a new era, and so, given your insights on the world affairs, so how do you see the future, and what are the aspects that you see can bring positive shifts to our planet?
I'm so excited about the future, and this excitement began when I was a teen, when I literally was going through a series of awakenings and remembrances and divine visitations, and so by the time I was 16, I understood my mission was to be a vessel of light and healing to the planet. I didn't really have a visual image of what that would be, what the implementation of it would be, but I just had a sense and a knowing that I was here, like I'm sure many of you felt as well, on a mission, not just here on a vacation. And I've come to realize, well, this really isn't the vacation destination of the universe anyways. I mean, we wouldn't come here for a vacation. It's just fraught with so much travail and pain and suffering. And, of course, souls here forever have been encoded to suffering as a way of life, and the religions are all supporting that. So what was really exciting was at 19, I had a really crystal clear inner experience where I was back in the realms of light, back home, right before this life, and I describe it like as a soul school, like a beautiful temple, and where all of us were getting ready to come into embodiment, and there were big screens where we were seeing movies of things that were bringing up heartfelt emotions of love, compassion, caring, preparing us for the earth plane, getting us acclimated to these higher emotions. And what was really exciting to see is that we were all going to come in together this time, not just one sage or saint in one location, but that we would come in mass in every country, in every religion, in every, background. We would be born into it. And that even though it would be fraught with so much challenge and difficulty because we're taking on what we would take on, we're born into these lineages and taking on the karmas and patterns so that we can not only deal with it in the physical sense, but be way-showers of a way out and bring consciousness and light to the darkness. So it was a really grand plan, and it was at a time that when the planet was hurtling fast towards destruction, and of course we've all heard the prophecies, the predictions, the scientific prognostications, and a lot of them are feasible and looked, like real potentials, yet many are falling to the wayside as this awakening is occurring. And one of the main things that was so interesting in that one experience was that we would all be linking up around the planet, and we would be in this ascension process. And year by year, we'd just be at the next level, all of us together. And that finding each other and knowing we were there would be our saving grace. That would just give us comfort in a dark world where in the beginning it would be challenging. And I didn't know that word, ascension. But now I've come to realize that we're here to ascend out of the human patterns, the belief systems, the programming that have kept this world in suffering and kept the genocides and the wars and the plagues and everything going. for whatever reason, the divine decided that this long-term learning module of Earth was going to make a change, like it did after Lemuria going, the descent of humanity and the consciousness of humanity, and humanity going into toiling and all these things that are born out of the human condition, that we would be coming to Earth and paving a way for all humanity into a more enlightened era. And it's been really exciting to be witnessing this and to also have seen both potentials shown to me, to the point where the dire potentials were shown by an angel visitation that showed me them, and some other ones that I later read about in Edgar Cayce and some of these great seers that have pretty clear inner sight. But I was also shown this other future potential of a light-filled path, of a dark planet where pinpoints of light started appearing, and then those pinpoints became circles of light, and then those circles of light became patches of light until the whole planet became light. And so my whole embodiment, I've aligned with that and to do my part. And that's what if you're listening to this call, you're definitely part of the grand team doing it. And because I can see the both potentials, I can see the one fading out and getting dissolved and transformed, but also doing its dark side work to alert and awaken humanity and move humanity away from these things, kind of like a homeopathic. And we're moving more into this light-filled future that's pretty remarkable, because we're all here, and look at the change we've already done. Look at the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of projects, endeavors, programs, nonprofits, music, books, this whole renaissance of healing products and modalities, and all that we've brought since we came, that is focused on positive planetary change. So this is something I'm so excited to share with everyone, because I know it's hard to hear the daily news of all that's wrong and bad and going literally to hell on our planet. So I just am so excited. And in conclusion, in 2012, when so many people had the dire prophecies and this was it and we're all going down, in that year, Pallas Athena, one of my favorite friends from the heavens, who is known for her sponsorship of the oracles of Delphi and revered to this day in Greece, she is one of my divine sponsors and of this global healing ministry, and she commissioned a journey into the future that she wanted people to know and understand. And it was a 3-part thing. That the first one was, exploring the afterlife and the truth about death, dying, and beyond, and then exploring the soul's journey and its preparation on the higher realms coming into Earth, and then the third one was the journey into the future, to let everyone know what the highest probability at that time looked like. So in November in 2012, she wanted me to go under hypnosis to do it, because I have so much awareness on this topic. She didn't want it to be me, my, what I write about, what I bring forward, but to have it be clean and clear, just clear sight from that divine perspective. So she commissioned my best friend in the world, Bernadette Jean-Marie, who's an amazing healer and hypnotherapist, to do it. And Bernadette took a long time taking me under so that my conscious mind was completely quiet so that I could really see. And so Pallas and I started going into the future, 2012, 2014, 2020, 2033. And oh my gosh, it was so mind-blowing that the probability at the time was so glorious. And for everyone that's ever had that, I give these events sometimes where I bring that forward and speak about 2012 to 2033. And it's like this amazing transference. and then it's also available, to partake of. So it's an amazing thing to really get viscerally, to energetically, visually, the physical impact of what we're all doing and accomplishing on Earth. And really, it makes me proud of all of us. And I could really just cry right now and about this, how much we sacrifice to come here and how much we're all doing. And we should all just be our own best friends and help ourselves in our missions by being wise stewards of our lives and giving ourselves everything we need and all the comforting things and beautiful things to help us, because we're making a huge difference, and this planet is never, never, never going to be the same.
Yeah, beautiful. And we are also grateful for the divine work that you are doing, and the work that and the shift that you are helping us to do, and to move in this to this new era, and to come back again to Eden. So grateful to you, Aurora. And so, Aurora, I have a question. Is do all people on Earth will naturally fulfill their destiny and mission, or it's not all of us?
No, absolutely not, because no one really has. I mean, yes, everyone sets up before they come, writing what's their soul learning module going to be about, and enlisting spiritual helpers to guide them. And so has humanity made a very slow and evolution that really hasn't been much of an evolution up until now. And now we're just, like the souls that are here now are just nothing like their ancestors. They're like, no, we're not going to sit with patterns and live them out the rest of our lives, like Wilma wrestling with it all, like she's not just going to sit back and this is the way it is. And yeah, like I said before, I mean, there is no way with the human programs we took on that we can fulfill a higher destiny unless we heal them. There's just no way, because they take precedent and they run us and they create their realities. And they're creating all the adversity on Earth and why we still have so much suffering. So to fulfill a higher destiny, you have to be in a higher quotient of your divine self more often to allow the divine plan to manifest for your life and for the planet. So that's what we're about. We're cleaning it up in ourselves, and like what I saw in that remembrance of us coming to next levels, ascending out of the human consciousness, ascending out of like phoenixes rising from the ashes of the human conditioning, we're rising into our divine selves, our true authentic natures, and standing in the earth all together more and more into our capacity to do that is changing the very molecules of the planet in the future. And the more we can live in that divine reality, the more the earth will reflect that, because we're very much in a holographic field here. Kind of like, if anyone likes Star Trek, I love that. The holodeck, where they could set it all up and then it's a holodeck experience and it's real life plays and things they go through, but it's not really real because they can change the whole molecular structure of it back to, divine perfection, or back to everything's good now, and that's what we're doing here. I've seen it forever because I do so much inner work. I've changed aging and I've undone, I love undoing the impossible, and I love people coming to me with impossible cases and helping them set free and actualize their greater potential. And I see the difference. Their whole lives change around them from the inner work, and then applying whatever physical, nutrition or whatever needs to be added in. So, yeah, we can do it, and it's step by step. As we clear the next piece, that future that had all that programming, running dissolves out, and that we step on a higher destiny path, a more light-filled path, and now we're on the next level. We've graduated to the next level, and then we're back to our authentic self. And really it's about what level is your mastery you're going to attain with this, of how long you're going to, how much of the time you're going to be in your authentic self and how much of the time you're going to be dealing with aspects and anxiety, depression, heartbreak, frustration, relationship issues, and everything. For me, I don't have the tolerance level because I could never relate to the shadow side, and so I was always trying to find a way out. And early on, that was spiritual bypass, which then, because I did that with major heartbreak, I ended up having an incurable heart condition and 2 heart attacks when I was 33, and I was told I would be debilitating really fast and dying. And I said, no, not with 4 beautiful little children. I'm not leaving my children. I'm not ready to go. So I had to undo it all, but that was a long journey because I didn't know any of this. So it was about 7 years of, on the journey, but I learned so much that I can now bring to all of you.
Yeah, beautiful.
So the alchemical key I'd like to give here is master your psychology so you can live in your authentic self more often and fulfill a higher destiny potential. To do that, you do not spiritual bypass. I already had all the messes from that. When the issue's up, no shame, no blame, just curiosity. Okay, who's this aspect? Okay, here's my next piece for myself, my family, all humanity. I want to hear its story, and I want to heal this younger part of me that's tied in with the whole planetary dilemma. You can literally learn to do it in minutes. With the quest process, it's a beautiful way to do it with journaling. So you keep a record of what you're healing and clearing in your shifts, and then you could look back 3 months, 6 months, a year, go, oh my gosh, I did all this little journey on this topic, and I'm just so different today. That's not playing out in my world. And then as you get really good at it, you can do it as an inner process or follow that, set of audio where it guides you through it. And for me, because I've worked with so many inner aspects, I can heal them in minutes because I just get the drift downloads from them very fast, and that's why I can do that with you guys today. That's why so many inner aspects are getting healed right now. They're all very excited. In fact, I want to say that a little while ago I had this awareness, Monsef, that you're standing in this whole pillar of light right now, and all of Africa, that whole continent is like white light. And then I saw Canada and all these other regions where all of us today, who was ever here, and of course this is probably going to continue through the replays and keep going for this great healing, that all of your continents are like lighting up. Lots of healing happening today. So, it's all of us together doing this. And there needs to be those in the physical realm for it to take place. So therefore we came, and the Divine Ones are supporting us. Yet we're here, the ones that must make the calls, do this inner work, and pave the way.
Yes, absolutely. And also I believe that when we come together, the healing is much more greater. So, yeah, it's really wonderful. Aurora, I would love if we talk a little bit about the special offer that you put together for us, and then go through the global healing. So, yeah,
I'm really excited, very excited to make these beautiful things available to you. Everything's all divinely inspired, divinely, really manna from heaven, a feast of light the Divine Ones and I have been preparing forever So it's just incredibly exciting that to have reached this time where now all of you can avail yourselves of it, which has been just so quietly prepared for so long. And I'm happy just to talk a little bit about the different things to give you an idea and understanding of what, so you can tune in and see if this is something that could be really nurturing and sustaining and supportive of you at this time. So with the package A, I'm really excited that Steph wanted to include some of the ones from the Sacred Knowledge Collection. That's what I was sharing about, where Pallas Athena had been the sponsoring Divine One that worked with Bernadette and I. So the soul's journey really is to understand. It takes you up to the realms of light and through, vicariously through my experience, and all about the soul's journey and reason for embodying, and speaks a lot about all of us souls here, the ones, that I actually gave a special signature to, that I can talk about in a moment. And then the journey in the future. I'm so excited that this is available for you because in this package, because it's an hour long and you get to do it as a meditation or with your friends or groups and take the journey that I took, go with me into the future and see it through my eyes of my experience. And I've been really amazed by when I've done this with a group and everybody's just so light-filled and illumined and just gets it, from the experience. And then, of course, I spoke about the divine healing transmissions, the healing power of love. Seriously, when I listened to these and the whole beautiful way that they came into being, I just feel my whole being is getting reconfigured. And so it's really that love ray coming in from those heaven realms. And I was prepared for 2 months for this release. In 2001, I was told that a release would be taking place. Of course, I didn't know what kind of release. Could be music, sacred songs, a book. So anyways, from that moment, I was cocooned in white light from my feet to my crown for 2 months straight. In fact, we went through 9/11, and I was completely unfazed because I didn't even feel like a part of the world at that time. I had compassion, but I was just in this rarefied state, very much in retreat, with this beautiful Mount Shasta in the view from the little house I rented with my beautiful son, Ariel. And at the 6-week point, Mother Mary started taking me every night up to the Rose Temple of Divine Love, where I bathed in these rose, really liquid light, while she would stand there and share with me the healing power of love, the rose essence, what the rose light of love is all about. So what you have in this package is preparing your vessel to be an emissary of divine love. So all of these are divine healing transmissions like you're going to receive momentarily. This one's from the Elohim Amora, which Amora is one of the Elohim of love on that love ray. And there's, information of her sharing about that. Then there's the rose light of love, as I was sharing, the divine healing transmission from Mother Mary. And then there's purification of divine love by the Mahat Chohan. And then the activation of the God Self Within, a divine healing transmission from Pallas Athena. And you can read more about that. And then what's really exciting to share with you is the Renaissance of Grace album. And, I just want to jump back really quickly. After 2 weeks in the healing pools with Mother Mary, getting downloaded about the healing power of love, the 2 months was complete, and these divine ones just gave forth these transmissions. And when I was in New Zealand editing and getting them ready for release in 2012, it was like being in an electric field that lasted for weeks. It was just what happened to me by listening to them over and over and getting them all with the music before and all that. I couldn't believe what happened to me personally. So I'm excited that you'll have that and then get a good taste of these. And then the Renaissance of Grace album, there's a whole story about it. You can email me if you want the story, and it could be on the website too, aos.ws. In 1997, I just met a beloved who was a beloved for 5 years, and now a very close soul family. And as our hearts opened to love over Valentine's Day, these songs just started coming in from the heavens in this language that I call a universal language of love. And it would just be night and day. It would wake me up like 3 a.m., these songs. And so a few months later, we ended up in Crete where we did a performance, but not with these songs of singing, and he's an amazing multi-instrumentalist. And when we went to Santorini right after that, there was a comet in the sky and a new moon. And, of course, Santorini, you're at the hotel, and then there's a gorgeous ocean on all sides around you, a little island. And all of a sudden, he started playing this song, and my heart leapt on the guitar. Well, when you listen to his guitar, it makes your knees go weak. Truly, he's an extraordinary artist. And my heart leapt, and I started singing the sacred songs, and he started singing too. And that's when it started coming through both of us. And then we ended up together, and in Maui, in Kaanapali, we had a beautiful villa with a full-on, a whole amazing recording studio. And I would just be brought up at different times under the divine direction, and these songs would flow in. And sometimes we do different takes, and Bruce said, wow, this is a languaging. It's coming in exact same syllables. So there was just so many things that happened during those recordings. I was always in my highest self when I recorded, and I don't know how I knew how to do that because I never recorded before. Always give it an invocation, bring in the divine. I had an altar in the studio. So all these things were just a divinely guided setup. And one, the one that came in Greece was Love's Eternal Flame. So that was a favorite forever. There's another one, Love's Sacred Fire, where each time I just transported to this cathedral of light in the heavens, and I truly believe it's a prayer for humanity and the world. And another time in Renaissance of Grace song, the whole walls disappeared, and it became this Elohimic, divine feminine being holding the world cradled to my heart, in my arms. So this is very powerful. The divine ones say there's healing matrices in this music, and a lot of people like to just play it in the background of their home and loop it, and that it has the new archetypes for this new millennium and the divine encoding, and so much can happen within that. And then we wove some of Bruce's New Level Flamenco with the sacred songs in Gypsy Soul, so you guys get that too if you want, and that's kind of upbeat and really moving and exciting music. So Gypsy Soul, Heart of Passion. And then, of course, our fourth album together is River of Gold. And we have tons of albums out now, I think around 16, with the sacred songs weaving through. And that was when it was all starting to come down. And so Journey of the Heart and Shiva Moon are the songs that are on there with his normal instrumental music that he always did until he started singing the sacred songs with me. And so really our work together is just his emergence and his voice coming out to be a vessel of these songs. And then item number 10, yes, I gave so many. I'm really exciting just to give as much as I can here, is the Quest Heal Your Life, Change Your Destiny ebook. So this has the whole formula I've been talking about today, the 7 master keys to inner peace, how to walk this powerful life mastery path, and fulfill your highest destiny potential. It's all in there for you. And you can read some cool quotes that Jack Canfield, Jared Rosen, some other great mention about it. And then the 11th item is the Quest 7 Steps, which is the MP3. And so I think it's number 10. Track 10 takes you through it, and the other ones give you audio of some of what's in the book of helping you understand your psychology, why you want to do this work, and really the nuts and bolts of it all, and should put wind in your sails to do it. And then you can literally follow it along and pause and write out, your process or do the inner journey with it. And then item number 12, I'm so excited. This body of work, this book was award-winning out the gate. So I'm just thrilled it was so well received, especially when so many people have spoken on this topic and had such dire focus, negative about our future. And it's the first book, Earth 2012-33, The Ultimate Quest, How to Find Peace in a World of Chaos, a Life Mastery Path to Unlocking Your Full Potential. So it has some cool stories in it as well. And then the second book of the series, Time of the Awakening Soul, included as well, Earth 2012-33, Time of the Awakening Soul, How Millions of People Are Changing Our Future. So I'm speaking about you. There's a signature, a master signature to who we are, and I gave us a name, a kind of a cool name that goes with our focus on personal planetary transformation. And then it begins with stories, and then the next two books in that series have a lot of stories that highlight my theories and showcase how we are under this transfiguration and what's going on. And then there's from the Illumined Pathway collection, The Indwelling Spirit, a book, Timely Messages for the Souls of Earth, an Illumined Pathway to Freedom, Enlightenment, and Peace. And this was just an amazing experience I had, where I sat down one day and received a letter from my inner self who said that she was the inner creative self and how glad she was that finally, out of my busy life, that I could hear her, that I could connect with her. And she told me that if I went on this journey with her, I'd never be the same, and I never was. And then when I edited this book to bring out, and this is the first of 4, that 3 more will be coming out, my best friend, Bernadette, said, whoa, after you edited that, you weren't the same. You were such a refined version of yourself. So this book, you guys can just open up, just click on and go into, one of the messages, or you can do it consecutively and, see whatever's right for you. And then the second package is Healing in Sedona, Sacred Alchemy Adventure, and one of the most spectacular sites on the planet, May 1st through 4th. And it's 4 days with me in sacred time at Sedona's most powerful and spectacular red rock vortexes, where you can experience the wonders of divine healing transmissions, activations, releases, clearings, powerful transformations, soul acceleration, and advancement, divinely guided from master teachers in the realms of light. So this is an event that's being completely orchestrated by the Divine Ones, my divine sponsors, and they're putting together the whole thing, and they're handpicking the souls. So if you feel a calling, just know, you're receiving that impetus. There might be something truly great for you here. And I'm excited about it because I get downloaded daily, and Babaji's been coming forward with the 7 Alchemical Keys of the Sacred Alchemist, Adeptship in the New Millennium, and a lot's going on where I'm shown what sacred site when, and then it'd be very open to allow the synchronicities that want to take place as we are under the guidance of the Divine Ones. So that's it, one Steph. The packages.
So thank you so much, Aurora, for those 2 wonderful and really powerful packages that you put together. And so I encourage anyone listening to take advantage of this special offer, and you can get there by clicking on the special offer link on the webcast page, or go into the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Aurora and number 2. yourdivineuniqueness.com/Aurora 2. AURORA and number 2. So,
I
Aurora, I would
think
love
that
to,
first.
yeah?
Oh, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, I think that first package we set up for only $99 with all, I don't know if that was 14 things. Yeah, there's just so much in it. So it's really a joy, to make it available and affordable, and I'm just excited to hear from all of you that avail yourselves of these things. I'd love to hear the feedback, the transfigurations you undergo, what happens for you.
Yeah, and so Aurora, I would love to go ahead and do the global healing.
Okay, great. And how many minutes do you think that it would be good to do it in? Because I know you have a timing for your about 10 minutes or 8 minutes, or what do you think's good?
Yes, 8 would be great. Yeah, 8 minutes.
All right. Well, I'll do my best because I'll be in the river of light
we can add
with
more,
my eyes closed,
minutes.
but I'll do my best. Of course, we defer to them. So everyone, let's center in our hearts, and I'm going to do an invocation to invite in the divine. But of course, we already, those of us who are aware, we've been in this waterfall of light through this whole connection, this whole beautiful gathering we're doing together. Okay. Beloved Father, Mother, Divine, Universal Presence, our inner divine selves and heavenly sponsors, we give grateful thanks for your bountiful blessings, healing light upon our pathway, for clearing the way for us to actualize our greatest potential and fulfill our highest divine plan. And we thank you for healing on all levels of our being, going into those depths of those causal levels, healing the cause-core record memory effect of all the human conditioning, programming, and all that is no longer serving us and our loved ones, our family members, and all humanity. And we thank you that all that can be lifted and dissolved now in the light be done by divine grace. With such grateful thanks, we ask that these things be done in accordance with divine will and the highest good of all. Hail, legions of light. I am mighty victory, a divine being who comes when called to assist this planetary home and to help facilitate that shift in the consciousness of humanity to set things right in accordance with the divine intention and plan for all. I come with Mother Mary, Alice, Athena, and other great ones who have been serving you through this call and beyond, to those of you listening for the first time in any time period. We are facilitating a great change within your psyche. Thus, a lot of what you've been experiencing has been at the deepest subtle levels of your being. Many, many inner aspects in the hundreds of thousands now have been being healed in yourselves, your family members, and all humanity, transforming now to raise through a glorious ascension process into the divine self, the divine potential. Thus, over the next 3 months, there will be an integration period where these newly transformed aspects will be integrating to empower greater authentic selfhood, and thus operating in your psyche from a higher vibration in alignment with the divine plan. And this very action, the very action of this clearing today and the release of light through your beings have put you on a whole new pathway, a whole new future with greater possibilities and potentials for you to realize the greater self that you are. Thus we come to earth through this ministry, a global healing ministry of the Temple of Sacred Alchemy and the many different aspects of it to serve you and to help advance you in record speed to your fullest potential. And thus, as you partake of the divine healing transmissions, as you partake of even the books and other things that have been gifted today, you know that you'll never be the same, because the very molecular structure that has formed these offerings from the realms of light are like manna from heaven to feed and nourish you on so many levels of your being, not just mental, not just through inspiration, but to really work a positive change within your soul. For that is what we are about here. That is our commitment through this ministry, to accelerate the souls of humanity and bring the deep healing on those causal levels of the psyche, so that humanity can make that big leap in consciousness that all of you intended to help facilitate the change of into a life that is divinely guided, that is under a divine rather than a human plan. And as we see the great shifting occurring as the shafts from the wheat are separated, and that is in your psyches, that the dross now can be transformed under this alchemical process, this sacred alchemy, which is transforming the baser aspects of self into the gold of your true nature. And thus, as this great healing has been occurring and the multitude of aspects have been shifting, now you've been able to receive the light from our realms and from your divine selves through that crystal cord coming down into your crown chakra, so that golden white light can permeate your whole being and accelerate the change, the whole transfiguration that's underway. And also through bringing your souls into the inner healing temples. We've been working with you to repair and restore the DNA, to activate your pineal so you'll be more in touch with your divine reality and divine self than ever before, and able to live out of that self and know that self as your highest divine destiny to bring to a world in transition. Light releases great. And you will be cocooned in this light over the next months. The golden white light sealing your aura intact and allowing you to be in that deep connection with the truth of who you are and the realms of light. Feel it now, beloved. Feel this sacred place that you have entered in your soul as you sit in that seat of the soul within yourself, in complete peace, completely content to be who you are, and to let the holy presence of the light within you radiate out and transform this world. Without effort, without striving, just by being the truth of who you are. And know that we, through this healing, have been able to work at the deep stratas of the psyche of humanity. And the world is not even the same now. For all those aspects that would have created so much havoc and travail on this earth are transformed. And thus each time you would listen to this and our other divine healing transmissions, know a mighty work is being done in the earth, giving us permission to enter and for the change to be accelerated in and through you. Oh, beloved ones, so much love pours forth to you daily. Open up now your hearts. Open the petals of self and receive our love. And know we are ever here for you, championing your cause in the earth, partners in this grand design of the personal and planetary transformation of this blessed earth and the glorious future that is birthing in and through us all. What's important with this release of light is everyone just hold for as long as you can in it. the light release is going to be continuing, and the Divine One's continuing to work with you and your families, your loved ones, to spend such great joy, to be a vessel of this for all of us and for our planet. And just bless you all, and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Aurora. That was really, really powerful, and I felt my energy shifting, and also I felt like a supporting energy on my shoulders during the healing. It was really, really powerful.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much for having me, Monsef. I'm really, really grateful to be able to share this, to reach everyone that all of this is meant for. And as I said, it's been a lot of years in preparation, and I had to go through major healings and shifts and transfigurations to be a vessel of what's happening today and all these releases. So thank you so much. I'm really grateful.
Yeah, it's been such an honor for us to have you between us today, and yeah, we thank you for for the global healing you did, and for the healing you did for people who ask their questions, and really we are sorry that we couldn't answer all of your questions. So with that, Aurora, I just want to thank you for all the divine work that you are doing. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome, and everyone tune in over the next weeks and see what's different for you, and see what might have been changed by the Divine Ones working with you this whole time. And like I said before, it doesn't matter what time you tune into all this. It's right happening for you right now.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so I also want to thank each and every one of you who attended this call live, and also those of you who will attend the replay. And I also want to thank all those who wrote their questions and comments: Ben, Nora, Lisa, Kathy, Josephine, Melissa, and Sarah. We apologize, we didn't have enough time to answer your questions, and we are so glad to have you between us. And also, you can get to the amazing special offer that Aurora put together for us by clicking on the special offer link on the webcast page, or go into the link yourdivineuniqueness.com/Aurora2. yourdivineuniqueness.com/Aurora and number 2. AURORA and number 2. And so with that, and I send you tremendous amounts of love, and see you in the next session. Bye-bye.